truth man here. The channel is the No Matrix, No Simping, All Subjects channel. I want to talk about jail, halfway houses, detention centers, all of that. And I want to talk about what a lot of y'all need to understand about it. Then you can probably properly understand some of the behaviors that we see out here. Now, the first thing you need to understand is some facilities make matters worse. Like, if they come to your facility, right? And this, I'm speaking from a perspective of a correctional officer. When they first come to your facility, they're gonna come in there acting like they still on the street. So they're gonna come in there and they're going to be trying to manipulate you. They're going to be trying to bully you. They're going to be trying to punk you as correctional officers. That's how they do initially, right? After that, you're either going to gain their respect or they're going to want to get you when they see you. That's the way it is. So the better correctional officers learn to give consequences, but also to like not treat them like they animals. You know, you give consequences, but you don't treat them like they animals. You talk to them like you would anybody else. Joke around when you can joke around. Listen to them. People got real life problems. If you only give them consequence, but you don't listen to them, and you don't be talking to them, and it's like this. They're going to see you as the enemy. Some of them going to see you as the enemy anyway it go. But over time, like you can, with a lot of them, you can change that. I'm going to talk about that. I might have to do a couple parts on this. So a lot of time for me, being more experienced and being, around the street and in the street myself in the past, it's like I knew how they think. So I knew how to get in their head, but I also knew how it really is and how it really be. I saw friends struggle sometime where, they ain't got no money for food and you barbecuing, so you sneak them a hot dog and stuff, or y'all go swimming and you got more money than them, so you buy y'all both a hot dog. And sometimes, shockingly, I had both parents, but sometimes my friends was treating me. When them bills start hitting and money mismanagement, it can work both ways. So with most of them, like I have rapport with most of the inmates / residents / whatever y'all call them, detainees. But it was always them couple that you just couldn't reach, like they was gone. Like it was this one guy that no matter what, man, no matter if you try to be cool with him or whatever, he just always would do stuff and say stuff disrespectful. And you had to deal with him, like you had to give him consequence. When you give him consequence, he made all these threats and stuff like that. When they make their threats, you just got to remember and keep your cool. Like if you make threats against me, I can forgive you and I will forgive you, but I'm not going to forget. So if you try to carry out those threats, then, I just got to defend myself. Because I was one of them ones, like the first time I worked there, that's when I was younger. I was, they respected the hood that I was from. So it was easy for me because they had respect for the hood that I was from. And I knew some of their parents and they cousin, all that people in their family from the streets, basically. And so it was an easier time. I could just tell them to do something. I did have to restrain people and I did have to write people up. That just comes with the territory. You gonna have to do that. If you ain't willing to do that, write people up, lock them up, restrain them, then corrections or police ain't for you. So all the time I worked there, I never had an attitude like I was better than them, because that would be just utter foolishness for me to think I was better than them. And some of the stuff they was in there for, I did before. So I wasn't thinking that I was better than them. I just never been to jail. You know what I'm saying? But also you have people like that in your family that if you look down on them, you looking down on your own relatives, because your relatives would agree with them. That's another thing. That's what I want to talk about next. Some guys, you got to understand, they never saw such unity that they did in prison. Like those guys, they impressed me. They amazed me the last facility I worked at. Because sometimes they be united, man. It'd be hard to break through that. Like they do not be telling on each other, man. So sometimes you have to punish everybody. And they still accept it. They'll be mad at you, but they'll accept it. But they not gonna snitch. So a lot of time, those guys never saw such unity. Let me tell you what happened. One time, the last facility I was at, the control center accidentally, it was an accident, but I heard it. Accidentally called my dorm for an emergency, right? So the sergeant was right in the hall. She got there first. And I was telling them, like, I heard it. She said, didn't he say T6? I said, yeah, I heard it. So, oh no, it was P6. It was P6. So she came in there, right? When emergencies, they supposed to get in what we called at that facility the prone position, where they just like this, they turn around, they like this, and they put themselves in a kind of defenseless position, so that and they need to handcuff somebody, they could just come in there, get them, and go. Now, the emergency wasn't on my dorm. That was an accident. But wait, now my phone's doing that little. Hold on. It was an accident, and I'm gonna do part 2 if it shut off. So, it seems like my phone, it does that when it needs to cool off a little bit. Hold on, y'all. So, the guy was getting water. Everybody was going about their day because they didn't hear it. I did. And so, wait, hold on. Yeah. So, she slapped the water bottle out of one of their hands. And he was like, they was like, you can't do that. You can't do that. When she did that, they all, every single one of them, I swear to you, man, every single one of them in that dorm was united. They all was saying stuff, Howard, man, you know she ain't supposed to be doing that. I was throwing my hands up like I ain't see it. Then some of them was joking around. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You just don't want to go against her because you knew. So I didn't see it, but I heard the bottle hit the ground. So she came, she arguing with them and stuff. And they like, man, we ain't, she like getting prone position. They like, no. And they all did this. The Mexicans, the white, the black, they all was like this. Every one of them, every single one of them in that dorm. They put up the fists. I'm looking around like, dude, y'all chill out. Because it was my job. I had to help her get the piece. They like, nah, man. She coming in here starting stuff, man. She racist. She slapped that bottle out of his hand, blah, 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 blah. So the sergeant come in. The one that I told y'all about, that I told him they need you out there more than here. He come in there cussing people out. They trying to tell him what he said. I don't give a F what happened. Now keep in mind, this is the problem in most correctional facilities. It's not going to be them. It's going to be the way it's ran, or it's going to be people that's abusing power. It's going to be your coworkers a lot of time more than anything else. Now, in some facilities that I work, it wasn't the coworkers. We're going to get to that. I might have to do a part 2 to this. But in that particular facility, it wasn't my fellow JCOs. They was cool. Like, you never know who like you and who don't, all this other stuff. It don't matter. They didn't get in my way. Because I could check them. And I did a couple times. But he came in there saying all of that, right? That's unprofessional. So when I see you act unprofessional, you better tread lightly around me, because I'm looking at you different until I see you act professional. And you trying to tell me how to deal with them, and you don't know how. So a lot of times I'm telling you, man, I know what I'm talking. I got over 13 years experience. I know what I'm talking about. So when they was doing that, in my mind, I was like, man, look at this. These dudes is more united than the staff. I was impressed. You know, I'm a Libra, so that was getting me. You know, Libras love that kind of stuff, to see unity and stuff like that. Because even though he locked up, and the dude she did that to, I never had no problems on it. Dude had good behavior. He didn't know what was going on. He getting water because it's time for them to be on their bunks. That's what they do. They get their water, you know, because the time was coming that what we call, you got to be on a certain side of the room at a certain time. And then at a certain time after that, you got to be on your bunk. You could talk, but you got to be on your bunk. And you could only talk for a certain period of time. So he was getting his water. He didn't know what was going on. So I had to explain to them. They wasn't trying to hear it. They trying to get me to take up for her. So I'm like, if they question, you know, I ain't going to say nothing as long as they don't try to get me. As long as they don't try to get me, I wasn't going to say nothing. But I know how corrections go. In corrections, you got to be willing to drop the dime. You got to be willing to snitch, because they'll do it to you. You see? Yeah, I'm not going to lose my job for somebody that ain't going to pay my bills. So they just like this. All of them. They got their fists up. I got some dirt on my arm. But must have rubbed against something. So they got their fists up. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, wow, look at this. This is why, one of the reasons why people don't care about going to jail. When a lot of times, they not going to let nobody in their dorm completely starve unless it's under certain situations. They all, like, they was looking out